Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is James and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about the latest news in regards to Reading Football Club. Now I know the fixture release day is tomorrow, so I expect to sit down and talk to you guys again this time tomorrow, but we're going to go ahead and go through some of the news as quite a bit of news has happened during the last week. Reading have had a few contracts that have finally been accepted from mostly defensive position players. We've gone ahead and signed a brand new player, as well as a rumour of potentially one of Reading's best players leaving to go to the league above. But we'll start off with the contracts that have been accepted. And to begin the week, Reading announced that John Clark and John Ryan had both signed new one-year deals at Reading. Now for me, it's really good to see both Johns pick up new deals, as they're for me two players that probably would have been in and around that first team last season had they been injury-free. John Ryan was set for a massive year and was massively involved in the pre-season, or at least the first team pre-season plans, and then unfortunately got that really bad injury and missed the entire campaign. And for John Clark, it seems like he's been on the cusp of the first team for the last few years. It feels like we've been sitting and talking about the potential John Clark has for a few years now. And for me, again, look, I think it will be another player that will be a squad player for Reading next year. Maybe comes in and plays in some of that left back position, can even play up in the left wing position. And for me, I think John Clark is somebody that is an all-round good player and is a character as well around the team. And that's the type of characters that you want at Reading Football Club, especially when you see the likes of what he does on social media and how the players react when they're around him. John Clark is someone that for me is someone you want around this football club. And the same for John Ryan. Look, John Ryan obviously has got international experience playing for Sassuolo's under-19s a few years ago. He's been at Reading for a couple of years now as well. And for me, look, I think will be someone that probably will look to want to put that right back position down as his for this season. The next one was that Michael Stickland picked up a new deal. Once again, a one-year deal, but Reading have an option to extend it for another season. 5 appearances last year for Stickland, and when he did play, looked pretty good, if we're being completely honest. Now, he came in, I think it was when, Amadou Mbengue got injured, and then he slotted next to Tyler Bindon. And for me, he didn't really put a foot wrong. Got sent off against Wrexham for some silly time wasting. But bar that, thought Michael Stickland did pretty decent. Had a really good game against Wrexham, so we say, where really was part of the two players, him and Bindon, pocketed Sam Smith and Jay Rodriguez up front. But for me, I'm glad to see Stickland stay again. Look to see him involved in and around that first team this season. Do I think he'll be an out-and-out starter every week? No. But playing in some of the Virtue Trophy and maybe some rotation in first team games, I can definitely see Michael Stickland involved there. And again, it's all about the development. Listen, Stickland had a season-long injury a couple of years ago, but before that was the player or nominated for the Premier League 2 Player of the Season. So for me, again, someone with bags of potential, and hopefully we get to see a lot of it during this season. Now, the next one is that Andy Yiadom has signed a brand new one-year deal at Reading as well. A little bit concerning about these one-year deals, if I'm being honest. I'm not really too sure why we can't extend them further than that. For the Ryan and Clark one, I completely understand it because they're coming off long-term injuries. And again, maybe for Andy Yiadom, I can understand that too, coming off a long-term injury and more experience. But for Stickland, you know, I probably would have liked to have seen him given a 2-3 year deal, especially because, again, I think he's got potential to be one of Reading's better players. But Yiadom has signed a new one-year deal. Listen, over 200 appearances for the club, is also the current club captain. Makes sense for Andy Yiadom to stay. He's also got bags of experience and will be able to help the inexperienced back line. Look, Paul O'Connor's there as well now. He's got a lot of experience, but realistically, Reading have had a youthful set-up team for a long time. And Andy Yiadom is one of them experienced players. And for me, is someone who knows Reading in and out. He's been at the club for 7 years now. And yeah, I'm glad to see Yiadom get an extension on his deal, because for me, as a player that has lots of experience, and that's very valuable at this level. Now, the next one is that Jack Stevens has signed for Reading Football Club. He's going to be probably coming in as the number 2 goalkeeper under Joel Pereira. 190 appearances during his career. He's played for the likes of Oxford United, Port Vale, and where we've just signed him from, Cambridge. He was released at the end of his contract following not a handful, but about 16 odd appearances last season for the U's. Look, for me, he's just a player that's going to come in as the backup for Pereira. Look, he'll only ever play if Joel Pereira is injured or if we've got a cup game. So for me, look, it's understandable to get him in. He's obviously going to be replacing David Button, who's departed and recently been released from his contract. Stevens wasn't really highly rated at Cambridge, but under his time at Oxford, seemed like he had quite a few suitors there. So look, for me, it's a backup goalkeeper that's coming in, signed on a 2-year deal. It's not really much else to say bar that. Now, the next one is we're going to go ahead and talk about Reading's Virtue Trophy draw and who they've gone ahead and got so far. Now, the under-21 side that comes from the Premier League 2 hasn't been announced just yet, as that's set to come tomorrow. But Reading have been drawn against Milton Keynes Dons and Swindon as the two teams that will be in their group for the Virtue Trophy. Now, the last piece of news, again, because it's not really a lot to talk about when you talk about the Virtue Trophy. Apart from, look, it's good that we've got Swindon, if we're being honest. A few years ago, we played them and beat them 5-0, where it was a pretty entertaining evening. Hopefully, we can have similar results. Not too sure, though, as I think Ian Holloway has had a good amount of success so far with them. And also, MK Dons, they seem to be looking to definitely gain promotion this season, making some big signings so far this summer. Now, the last piece of news is that Amadou Mbengue is set to sign a contract at QPR. It's a real shame that Mbengue is leaving, as the project at Reading hopefully is going to be exciting for the rest of this summer and for the rest of the season, as it looks like Reading will look to challenge for promotion this season. But it's a shame that Mbengue will potentially be off. QPR is the club that he is set to sign the deal with. They've just announced a new manager who's French, so it would make sense for Mbengue to go there. But it's a big character for Reading to lose in the dressing room, and unfortunately on a free transfer is somebody that was very valuable for the club, and we're going to get nothing for him. Look, I'm really gutted Mbengue's going, and QPR fans can expect a very good player to be joining their club. Obviously started to struggle when he started off at Reading, didn't speak any English, and no one really knew where to play him. He played in defensive midfield, he played at wing back, and then eventually found his way at centre back and became one of the best players at the club. Him and Tyler Binden had a fantastic partnership last season and the season before. And look, for me, I'm really gutted to see Mbengue go if it is the case. Obviously, nothing is confirmed just yet, but yeah, I feel like, look, if QPR come calling there in the league above, wages are going to be much better. I feel like Amadou Mbengue will be off. It's also not too far away, so he can probably still commute from where he lives now. But that's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm sure I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow, hopefully to talk about the new fixtures that have come out, and hopefully to talk about maybe a signing as well, as there's been lots of rumours about Yakou Mete coming back to the club. That's going to be it for this one today, though, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.